video that I need to make quickly. So I've been making some lemon possets. I had some whipped cream to use up pre-whipped cream that I needed to use up. And I kind of thought, what I'll be able to do is I'll just be able to put the whipped cream, boil it up with the rest of the cream, and it will melt. It'll kind of whip it. The cooking process will de-whip it, and then it will just I'll be able to use it up and not waste it. What I did notice was it made the cream foam, and it kind of kept the foam as it boiled up. So like when you boil milk and it foams and you get to make a cappuccino, well, you don't boil the milk as such, but I've forgotten what the process is and how it actually works, but it's something in the milk that makes it froth. So when I've made the possets, there was a froth on top of the cream, and it's still a bit frothy now, so it's almost like a bit of a lemon mousse. I don't know if you can kind of quite see it, but it's frothy, and I was wondering, as it cools, will we keep the foam? So will it be like a foamy, moussey lemon posset, and will it keep the foam, and will it be interesting? I'm just curious, and if I'm curious about something, I really should make a video, because all the times that I have faffed around with something and not made a video, something kind of interesting has happened, and I think if something interesting happened, we really should film it. So, and I didn't really want to have to recreate it. You know, I'm interested in the workings out of cooking, like what happens if we do this, what happens if we do that type of thing, rather than giving kind of recipes, do this, do that, and this is what you get. I'm interested with the faffing around. So we'll let those set, and then we'll do a comparison. So these are, no, you can't really see that. So these are the possets. I'm just making some possets for some friends. So they kind of set normally, but those are the foamy ones. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. As it cools, it might leave. The air might escape from the cream, but we'll see, and we'll kind of find out. And it might just be something that's interesting. It might be something that we could recreate in future. But anyway, so that's that. We'll see what happens. I've gone cold. I haven't had them in the fridge. I've just had them out while I've been out for a couple of hours, just to let them cool down. Probably not the best idea putting warm things in a fridge. So that's the other posset. So they're set solid. Right, so that's like a set custard. But these look like they've kept the bubbles. So if we're quiet, we might be able to hear the spoon going into the bubbles. That sounds like a mousse, doesn't it? And if we look there, camera doesn't want to focus. Well, I say camera, it's my phone, isn't it? But you can kind of see aeration bubbles there. It's not really wanting to pick it up as much. Can we just zoom it in? Will it want to focus? I don't think so. Kind of, maybe. Probably time for a new phone. I might be able to see them in there, but you can see it's a little bit moussey there. So, how does it taste? It tastes like foamy. It tastes like a lemon mousse. So that's worked. Well, I say worked. It was a complete accident me finding out about that. But it hasn't lost its volume as it's cooled. So it hasn't reverted back to like a lemon cream. It stayed in its mousse form, and I think it would be kind of quite stable. You can kind of see that. You can see the bubbles there. So that's kind of quite interesting. I don't know how to replicate it though. I think we'd have to whip up some cream again, and then boil that with some normal double cream, heavy cream, and then kind of go through the same process again, and then maybe scoop off like with a ladle. So when you're skimming a stock and we take off that top layer of fat from a stock, maybe do the same with a ladle as it simmers. The foam would be at the top, so we'll be able to sieve it, not sieve it, use a ladle to kind of. Oh, I've got my ladle. Where's my ladle? Kind of like get the ladle in to the top of the lemon posset in the pan and scoop out the foam, and then pour it into those. There will only. I suppose when you make a cappuccino, it's something else, isn't it? What is it? Is it the lactose in the milk that makes it froth? Probably the protein. I know, because once it's through making a cappuccino, frothing milk, you create steam, and you want to use a whole milk, and then at some point the foam stops forming because you've watered the milk down with the steam, so the steam turns back into water, and at a certain point there stops foam being formed. But we're not doing it that way. We've whipped the cream beforehand and aerated it. So I don't know. And would you actually? It's interesting. It's like a lemon mousse, but it's just made with cream and lemon and sugar and lemon zest. So it's not as if it's a mousse like a chocolate mousse, which is made with adding whipped egg whites and yolks to melted chocolate. Although you can make a chocolate mousse with just melting chocolate, and then as you cool it down you whip it, and as it cools and solidifies it traps air and creates a chocolate mousse that way. So, but I don't know kind of what kind of use or anything. I'll tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of those cream whippers. I've got one. Is it a Spuma gun? I've got one somewhere. I bought it on a whim and never really used it. But the ones that you add the helium cartridges to, and you put cream in the thing. It's a sealed container. Tie the top on, and then charge it with a couple of those little helium balloon, like little gas bottles, and it's fancy restaurants use it for making a foam. So I suppose you'd be doing exactly the same thing, but we've gone around the houses by whipping up the cream and boiling it and doing that way. But you would get the same result that way. The only danger with that is that you would, if you're adding lemon to cream and then putting it through one of those whipping creamy guns, a Spuma, I think, can't quite remember, there's a chance that the acid from the lemon will curdle the cream. So you kind of have to do it instantaneously. Pour it into the container, charge it, and then squirt it out straight away. Because if you kind of left it for any kind of length of time, it would probably curdle the cream. And then you've got the added thing, you'd probably have to add in like a icing sugar to so that melted into the cream, because if you were to use a caster sugar or a granulated sugar, you wouldn't want to mix into the cream. But anyway, so I have no idea what I could ever do with that. It was just something that was interesting that I thought I'd make a video on. So from that point of view, a success.